Hi, I'm Sonia Dombroski from the Natural Dog Training Academy. Welcome to our channel. This is our first video where I will be discussing a case study about a dog that I have recently been to help. He was very anxious and really struggling with visitors coming into the home. So really hope you enjoy it, and now let's get on with the case study. With Eddie, he was a 3-year-old show Cocker Spaniel. They called me in because of barking. Now, he wouldn't bark at the door, but whenever they received visitors, what would happen? He would bark at them, but he would bark, back off, come forward, bark, back off. But this would carry on for the whole time the visitor was there. So even if they were there 5 minutes or 2 hours, sometimes he'd settle a little bit if the visitor sat down, but as soon as they moved to get up to go into another room, he would start again, barking and backing off. Now, this is real anxious behaviour. So for a dog to do this is worried about that visitor being there. And when we go into a home, we have to investigate why the dog is worried. Now, one of the reasons with Eddie is that unfortunately he was a lockdown puppy, so they couldn't have any visitors. When he was ready to go out for a walk, they couldn't stop and talk to anybody or go near people. So that going on for a few months can have quite a big effect on a dog. But also the owners, because of how Eddie was, they did spoil him, which is great. We all love to spoil our dogs, but he used to sit on the owner's knees a lot, and he was a very needy dog. He'd want to be with you all the time. So no matter where the owners were, he wanted to go. I started to explain to them why Eddie was doing this. He was worried about someone being in their home, and there was obviously a reason for that. One was the lockdown situation, but two, one of his resources was at threat. Now, because from what I could see and the questions I was asking, I could see that Eddie was in control in that household. There was only the two of them, and he was the one that whatever he wanted, he got. So if he barked at the treat cupboard, he would get a treat. You know, if he was going around them and they thought, oh, it's walk time, right, quick, let's take him for a walk. So he did get everything he wanted. However, also, when he was going on a walk, if they stopped to talk to anyone, again, the barking would start. So if anyone went to try and stroke him, the barking would start. So Eddie was a dog that didn't really want to have that fuss. Because if you think about it, if you were out on a walk and someone come, oh, hello, you'd be like, get off me. Dogs can't say that. And this is why we get a lot of growling or even a nip, because dogs can't speak, or they might back away and be quite scared and anxious about it. And Eddie, unfortunately, was one of those dogs. Not all dogs are like that, but Eddie was. Eddie had no boundaries at all. He could go on all the furniture, he could go on the bed, he slept on the bed. Sometimes he'd get on his own bed in the bedroom, but most of the time he would sleep in between them. So there was no boundaries put in place for Eddie. So what we started to do was make some boundaries. So the first thing we did is give him his own chair in the lounge. So we put a blanket there, and whenever he went on to one of the other chairs or the sofa, we'd just get him down and lead him to his chair. So that was the first thing we put in place. The second thing we put in place is when they do get up to go into another room and he's with them, just to make sure he stayed behind them and didn't rush through the door. Now, by doing those two small boundaries, and also correcting his barking. So every time he barked, I would ask them to do a correction, so he knew that was a naughty word, don't need the barking. And with that little bit of work, silence. And we could sit there, we could have a chat. I did a set-up situation of going out again, walking back in. Eddie didn't bother to bark, because suddenly what had happened is his owners had took over leadership, so therefore Eddie felt safer. And it's really, really important when you have an anxious dog or a nervous dog, to give them some rules and boundaries so they feel safe. Because what you have to remember is you have a dog. And even though we do like to humanise them because they're part of the family, they are a dog. And their way of thinking to ours is completely different. So we make rules and boundaries for our children, and that's no different for dogs. Rules and boundaries makes a dog a happier dog. Thank you for watching, and especially if you've stayed with me this long with a cold. If you like this video, then please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, or better yet, visit our website where you will find courses, online courses on demand. Our first 2 courses are accessible now. We've got Walking to Heal and Recall, all without the need for treats. You also have the option to take an advanced course, which gives you a video call with me or Lorna, which will help you with the progress of the training with your doggy. Thank you so much again for watching, and I really hope to see you again soon.